I wasn't always someone who chose to see life how I do today, but through learning how to be intentional and choosing to be consistent in this, my everyday experiences started to become more joyful, and I want to share what I have learned with you. Hello and welcome to the Healing Mama podcast. I'm your host, Danny Bonsignor, and I am so thankful you are here today. I pray that I can help encourage you to feel, to love, to heal, and to help encourage you to view all of your experiences, your conversations, and interactions all through a lens of love. Today we are going to talk about intentionality, consistency, and a little bit about how I got here and what I did. So, with that being said, let's get into it. I first want to say that I am so stinking excited. This is my first episode ever of this beautiful new journey I am embarking on. Oh, and I will say it feels a little bit surreal. I remember praying every single day for the last 2 years for God to just place a calling on my heart and to find something that I can not only enjoy, but something that leads me to impacting the lives of others in a way that God knows I can. It was about a year ago that I had announced I would be releasing a podcast by December of 2022, and that did not happen, which initially I was pretty upset about, but I now know that is because I still had some healing that needed to be done within myself, with my heart, my soul, and it was just not the right time. God always knows when the right time is, and so if something doesn't work out, I know it was just not meant to be. Now I feel I am in such a wonderful place to be starting this journey while also continuing to grow and to heal. And I think that growing and healing is a lifetime journey that is meant to be enjoyed. The process is the most beautiful part. So, I felt like talking about intentionality and consistency would be a really good topic for my first episode because it shines a lot of light on where I come from and how I choose to view each and every moment that I experience. I will say I was not always someone who chose or who knew that I could do something so simple as make a choice to view life in this light. But after becoming a mom, light really started to shine in places that it hadn't before. In the last year or so, there has been such a mind-blowing and beautiful transformative shift in my universe, and choosing to be more intentional in my everyday life has created a more joyous experience, and it absolutely just blows my mind. There are things that I can do today that I never would have imagined I was capable of, or instances that I never thought to question why I reacted how I did, and even though I knew it felt wrong, I didn't know yet how to change it or that I could change it. I feel like it can be easier to make excuses, to blame our parents, to blame our circumstances. It's easier to blame God and lose faith. It's easier to justify our actions and our reactions to situations, and we can get pretty freaking comfortable in the easy. Our Creator did not create us to be comfortable in the easy. We have to be aware that by not making a choice to grow, we are making a choice to stay the same. For a lot of us, we were not taught to think this way. We were not taught that we have a choice in the thoughts we think. Our parents were not taught this, or their parents before them. I believe this is so true for so many because if it wasn't, our world would look a lot different. And maybe you are someone who is happy with how you handle your everyday moments. But if you are here today, I'm going to guess that you are looking to grow and to heal in some capacity. We have a choice on how we view things, how we react to things, the thoughts that we think. We do not have to shame ourselves or feel guilty by how we responded to our children or our spouse that day. We are always making a choice, and once I was aware that I did not have to become frustrated so easily, that I did not have to hold on to hate or simmer in anger, and that I could choose to handle every moment of my day differently, my daily moments started to change. I chose to believe that God will always reveal to me what it is that I need to know, and always in His perfect timing. And one way that I have learned to do this is through meditation. And before you get quick to think about what I'm going to say or judge the word meditation and already rule this out of your realm of capabilities, hear me out. I am now someone who meditates, and it is such a precious time to allow the Holy Spirit to speak with me. And most of my aha moments, my breakthroughs, they really stem from these sessions, and meditating can look different for everyone. For the longest time, I thought the only way to meditate, and I'm using air quotes by the way, was to find a quiet space and you had to sit or lay down. I heard something one day when I was listening to The Power Is Within You by Louise Hay, how meditating doesn't have to just be you sitting down crisscrossed. It can be done in your day-to-day activities while you are unloading and loading the dishwasher, taking clothes out of the dryer, while you are cooking or eating a meal. It makes sense when you think of meditating as just being present and acknowledging the thoughts that come into your mind and then sending them away. Being open to new ideas and different thoughts. I realized I had really been meditating every single day, multiple times a day in my own way. So it really started to click for me. It started to make sense why I was becoming more conscious of the decisions I was making and the way I was choosing to both perceive and respond to each moment. My mind, my responses, my day-to-day interactions consciously started to become more loving, more kind, and more intentional, and it happened so rapidly that it seemed almost too good to be true, but I know that it is both good and true. It is such a surreal feeling to feel God transforming your heart and to be so in tune with yourself that you can actually feel and enjoy the changes. And not even just enjoy, but to encourage the changes, to encourage yourself in real time. And I realized that when I was able to just be fully present in every moment, no matter what I'm doing, just being more intentional, more mindful, and more aware of the thoughts that come easier and more often than others, and being aware of the way that my body feels when these thoughts enter my mind has changed the way and the thoughts that I choose to think. Meditating in my everyday life has taught me that I have control over my thoughts. That if I don't like a particular thought, I don't have to continue to think about it. And instead, I can just release it and I can choose to think about something that brings me joy and peace. Knowing that we have the power over our thoughts in a conscious way will subconsciously start to change our day to day, hour to hour, how we react in every moment. My body was so resistant to this change in thought pattern in the beginning, and even now in certain areas, or especially if I am having a challenging day or I am pouring from an empty cup. The moments where we are more likely to revert to what we know. Noticing how our bodies are feeling is so important. And for me, my body always knows how I am feeling before my mind does. The rigidity of my muscles, if my chest feels tight, my heart rate, my body always knows before my mind. So learning to not just be in tune with your thoughts, but also in tune with your body helps so much. Being able to be in the moment and to notice when you find yourself not reacting in a way that you want is powerful. And imagine when you finally have a moment alone, or maybe at the end of the day, and instead of feeling guilty, you make a point to instead ask yourself, how can I act differently in situations today where I wasn't proud of my reactions? I think that meditating can have a bad rap, or the idea of sitting in a quiet space and just breathing seems ridiculous. Or maybe you're a parent, and so what even is a quiet place? Or maybe you don't feel like you have the time to dedicate to this. So when you know that it is something that you can do while you are already doing something that you probably do every day anyways, such as the dishes or tidying up at the end of the day, for me, this seemed a lot more obtainable. So as I mentioned before, there are things I can do now that I wasn't so sure I was capable of. Hard freaking things that every part of my being would fight against. But slowly, bit by bit, piece by piece, by choosing to be aware of myself, of my body, of my thoughts, I started seeing my challenging moments as opportunities and asking myself, what is this situation trying to teach me? I didn't know that I could be the person that I am today. So if you are sitting here and you are thinking, this is not possible for me, a year ago, I was sitting there and I was thinking the exact same thing. I didn't know that I had this capacity to love in the way that I am capable of loving today. I didn't know that I could be this patient, this kind, this understanding, or this forgiving. I had no idea. Me a year ago, it seemed too good to be true. But as I said before, it is both good and true, and I deserve it, and so do you. So I am really happy you are here. Every single person deserves to be able to look into the mirror and love what they see. You deserve to feel good at the end of the day knowing that every moment you had with your children and your spouse that day was full of love and understanding. You deserve to rest easy at night, just knowing that you did your best that day, that your best is good enough, and that you are good enough. I really don't love the term mom guilt because I feel with guilt comes shame, and this does not have to be for you. That at the end of the day, you deserve to feel peace, love, and calmness. You can learn to view every daily encounter through a lens of love, and I feel so blessed that I get to share with you how I have learned to do this. And meditating, that word gets a bad rap, but being intentional, being present, allowing your mind to be at rest, to not have to feel like you are in a constant race with no end in sight every single day. Wow. Wow, is it beautiful to just be at peace. And it doesn't matter what happened that day. It doesn't matter if your toddler whined nonstop that day, if you are irritated with your spouse, or the dog barked for what feels like the entire freaking day. It doesn't matter if you looked around your house and you felt so consumed in the chaos. These things, they don't affect me like they used to. And I am so grateful for that. And I don't want to mislead you by saying it was easy to get to this point, because it wasn't easy, but man, is it worth it. And this doesn't mean that I don't expect myself to make mistakes or to fail or to respond poorly in a situation, because I do. And I actually encourage it because I know it's an opportunity to become stronger. Every challenging moment is an opportunity to grow, and that is how I choose to see things. In every moment that challenges me and I fail, this is an opportunity for me to show myself grace, to show myself love and kindness. If you are in a place or you are someone who is really quick to react or to yell out of anger or frustration, I want you to know that that does not have to be true for you. The way that we react, and especially when we become parents, our default setting is the environment in which we grew up in. And for a lot of us, we don't remember the time when we were babies or toddlers or small children. And this is the time that a lot of this is being imprinted in our being. And this is no shame to our parents, no shame to them. But if you were like, why the heck am I so quick to yell at my kids? Why the heck am I so quick to just react with anger or out of frustration? I want you to ask yourself, is this the path you want to continue down? The next time that you go to react and you notice your body getting tense or your heartbeat speeding up, I just want you to pause and take a breath. If that's all you do, take a breath and notice your intent. What are the words I am about to say? Where is my heart? Am I coming from a place of love and understanding, or am I coming from a place of hurt, frustration, a place of anger, or a place of lack? Notice how your body feels. Our bodies always know before our minds do, but a lot of us were taught not to trust our bodies. Noticing the way my muscles tense up is a sign for me to pause. It's a reminder for me to check my heart. Where am I coming from? And more importantly, where do I want to come from? When I am really mad, when I am really frustrated, when every part of my being wants to revert back to what I'm used to what I know, to the state that my nervous system sees as home base, it is so crucial that I just pause and I take a breath. Sometimes I don't have the right words to say. My intent is not good. And when this happens, that means I don't say anything at all. It is an option to not say anything. And a lot of the time in the beginning, that meant I didn't say anything. Now, because I have chosen to do this in every aggravating moment, it is definitely easier for me, and I would say that my go-to is almost always, to ask myself, how can I approach this differently than I would have? How can I react differently than I would have? How can I be forgiving in this moment? How can I be loving? What is my intent? Am I coming from a place of love, or am I being, for lack of a better word, petty? How can I choose to show myself love in this moment, and how can I then extend that love to my child or my spouse or whoever? Do I always get it right? Absolutely not. But do I acknowledge this as another opportunity to grow? Absolutely. So, with that being said, I really love when people recommend books to me that have resonated with them. So, I want to recommend a book to you because so much of the healing that has been done in my heart has been inspired by this book. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I listened to this book every single day for 30 days, and now I continue to listen to it at least once a month. I remember I first heard of this book from one of my favorite podcasts, the Rachel Hollis podcast. She is amazing. And you hear all the time, you hear so many books that people recommend, but not every book sticks with you, right? Not everything that works for one person is going to work for you. But by hearing different things, by trying different things, it all leads us one step closer to something that does. As a mom, it is a lot easier for me to listen to a book instead of trying to read something. And I read once that our brains cannot tell whether we are reading or listening to a book. And when something really clicks with you, it really clicks with you. And the way that Louise Hay talks about how we have a choice on the thoughts that we think and the way we view things, how we get to choose how we feel about things, right? We always have a choice. And whether we know it or not, we are making a choice for our benefit or one that hurts us. For a lot of people, I think we don't want to believe that we have a choice because it's easier to sit in the negative. It's easier to react from anger. It's easier to continue yelling at our children or maybe even our spouse. It's easier to continue shaming ourselves. But just because it is easier does not mean it is better or that it is what's meant for us. It's easier because it's what we know. But if we take a little bit of time, if we do a little bit of the hard work, what we know can change. So I highly recommend that book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And maybe listening or reading to books isn't for you and you prefer listening to podcasts. I hope this podcast helps you, and I am so happy you are here. I want you to know that I am not perfect. I don't know everything. I'm not a professional by any means, but I like to think maybe I'm a professional learner. I love to learn. I love to grow. I love living this life. I love showing up every single day. I love seeing challenges as opportunities to grow, and I'm doing the best that I can, and that's a really good place to be. I am learning to be someone who is more loving and more kind, and I want to react out of love. And if that sounds like something you would like to learn or someone you would like to be more like, then I just pray that you continue to keep tuning into this podcast because we all deserve to feel good about ourselves. I pray for light and love over you and the willingness to both see and receive love in every hard moment, as well as the easy moments too. I love to focus a lot on parenting with love, but in order to do this, in order for me to parent with a real and genuine, I see you, I accept you, and I love you kind of love, we first have to see ourselves. We have to accept ourselves and we have to love ourselves. I pray that if what we spoke about today doesn't seem like something for you, let it be a gateway or a door to new and different opportunities until you find something that does feel right for you. So, in closing today, I pray that the words I am about to speak fill your consciousness, and I want you to know that you deserve all of the goodness the world has to offer because you simply exist. If you feel called to do so, write these words down and practice them daily. Practice them when you are feeling frustrated or you want to yell. Practice them often and with joy. I love and accept myself. I see myself and what I do with eyes of love. I am doing the best that I can, and my best is good enough. Thank you, God, for shining light on my best qualities. I am full of love. I spread love wherever I go, and my family thrives in the love I give them every single day. Until next time.